Here in Nigeria, the army has declared 8 people wanted for their alleged roles in the recent killing of 17 military personnel in Delta State. The Army High Command released their names and photos at a briefing in the capital, Abuja, just hours after the murdered soldiers were buried with national honors at a ceremony attended by President Bola Tinubu. The director of the Army's media operations, Major General Edward Buba, appealed to residents of Delta and adjoining states to assist the military with credible information that would lead to their arrests.
A banner for the wanted persons involved in the killing of the 17 soldiers that were buried yesterday is hereby released to the press, and we encourage citizens, particularly those in Delta State, to assist in the investigation by flushing these persons out.
Well, for more on this, Arise Defense correspondent Ferdinand Duruoha joins me in the studio. Good to see you, Ferdinand.
Well, thank you so much.
Busy day for you then?
Quite a very busy day. Now, this particular briefing took place as early as 7 a.m. So you're very correct when you say it's less than 24 hours now since the burial. And those 8 names, 8 pictures, at least right now, we're beginning to get somewhere. Now, let's not forget that since about 2 to 3 weeks now that incident happened, well, Okwama has been on a lockdown.
Right,
now,
that's the place where
yes,
it
the
happened.
place where it happened has been on a lockdown. And for the military, there's been several operations. Well, some of the operations include trying to get those who are responsible, but some of the operations also include, involves trying to ensure that, well, the weapons used, for these attacks, and then the weapons also confiscated from the dead soldiers, do not leave, or they try to retrieve,
they recover them,
they try to recover them. And so it's good to know that they have put out these names. Now that would come as a sign of give us some breather that they're at least getting somewhere with investigations. And I tried to probe further, and that's exactly where they stopped. And so from what we've gotten, well, these persons might not have been those who pulled the trigger. They are still suspects, but then there are people who, one way or the other, according to the military, have some form of link.
Because I was going to ask you that I don't suppose any evidence has been presented to support the allegations made against these individuals.
Not at all. They seem to be keeping that one close to their chest. Well, I want to believe that, based on how much, activists and Nigerians have demanded that let's get past Udi. Let's get past, some other places where we just see retributions, and let's ensure that we see Udi
in Rivers,
when in Bayelsa State, when the Nigerian army went in there.
That was during the regime of
President Obasanjo went in there, and then there was a retribution because some military people were killed. And so we've gotten past that, and so we're waiting to see some form of an investigation. And so from the names that were released, well, we saw that, we saw the name of a professor, and then we also saw some other persons who were also involved or also indicted is a traditional leader. And like I said, we do not know the involvement of these persons, and we hope that future investigations will get to let us know exactly the roles that these persons did play. Are they people who helped them bring in weapons? Are they people who helped with other forms of logistics? Are they people who helped procure it? Are they people who knew and perhaps didn't say anything about it, didn't report to the authorities? Or perhaps are they just community leaders? Well, let's not forget that the community did allege that the army did wanted to arrest the community leaders, and it led to a revolt of some sort, and then before whatever happened did happen. But all those were issues. But the good thing is we're beginning to get somewhere with this. Let's hold some people account. Let's ask people questions, and that's why they're also
and apparently
saying,
these people have all gone underground.
Definitely, definitely, Charles. We must indeed say that the reactions did come, much more, were quite late. that happened on a Thursday, and we didn't really get to hear much about it up until Saturday and Sunday. And so it was not until Sunday that we saw those deployments into Oklahoma, and then lots of people, started accusing the military of some form of retribution. But thank God that, things sort of have calmed down over there right now, and the army is saying, we are going to do this by the books. We want these persons, help us get them out. Right. Well, another thing that has been alleged is the fact that, the people seem to have been complicit. Nobody seems to be coming out with information. And you definitely know why, Charles. Well, that's not, based on what we've heard about, some persons with authority, some persons with arms. That's not the kind of place you just want to go volunteer information. Right. So it's going to take a whole lot.
Basically, you don't want to go out there and sort of confront the Nigerian army. And there have been, you sort of touched on it, there have been allegations made against the military that in the course of their search for the perpetrators in Delta State, many innocent people have been hurt, properties destroyed. Has the army responded to those claims?
Well, they did say they have gone about it in a very professional manner, but the situation right now is that Oklahoma is on a lockdown, and so journalists have not been able to assess the situation. Even the state government have not been able to fully assess the situation, so we do not really know the extent of damage. Aside a couple of videos that we've seen on social media, well, there isn't really much information coming out, and that's exactly why I think, well, perhaps this would help. If there are some persons who have been linked to this, now maybe it helps narrows the search, and then from there, well, maybe the army would, create some ease. The representative, I think the representative of Oklahoma did come out to even ask for aid for these persons, and that's because he's saying that kids have not been able to go to schools, women have not been able to go to the markets, farmers have not been able to go to the farm, neither have fishermen been able to go there, and so
it's a siege.
It's a siege, basically.
Yeah. Well, Ferdinand, thank you very much indeed, and keep us updated as we get more sort of developments. Ferdinand Duruoha is Arise defense correspondent.